What's up, Israel? What's up, Ephraim? It's your girl, Samar. Welcome back to the front line, guys. I hope everybody had a great week. I am coming to you guys tonight with not one blunt roll, but two. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling myself tonight, guys. I just want to be prepared for this episode because I tell y'all, we got a good one, I think. I always think we got a good one, right? I'm a little biased. But anytime I get to go poking around at the kings. Y'all know I love it. I live for that. hmm I am the anti-king. Okay, you know how they talk about the anti-Christ coming? I'm the anti-king. Okay, here to put all of this nonsense to bed for you guys about this king bullshit. All right, this thing that was evil to ask for. Y'all see that statue, right? hmm In my eyes, this statue represents those golden, silver, bronze, industrial age. You see it? Yeah, that's that vision. Man keeps idolizing this thing. Man keeps idolizing himself. All right, guys. I want to go back and poke around at David, and for good reason. First, guys, y'all know Samarla. One thing y'all don't know about me. Okay, story time. When I was 17 years old, I used to work at a video store called Royal Video. Why do I keep closing this thing? It's called Royal Video, guys. And while working at this video store, um, I got to see this movie when it first came out. So, fair use for the purposes of education and criticism, right, y'all? This is Wrong Turn. Everybody had to have seen this movie. As a matter of fact, a few people compared it to the other movie called Deliverance. But the thing that was crazy about this is it wasn't necessarily like your typical horror movie. This was a movie about how inbreeding can go wrong, right? Inbreeding is genetic bottlenecking. Inbreeding is genetic bottlenecking, guys, right? This is where natural selection isn't able to pull from a big pool because the genes are too closely related, right? So you won't get genetic diversity. Do you know their favorite king is from a line of inbreds? What are they? Their favorite king is from a line of inbreds. Yeah, yeah, Judah. Y'all remember Judah, right? With their friend shirt. Let me see if we can get Judah with a friend shirt. Let's see. Let's get Judah with a friend shirt. Let's get a Judah fringe shirt for you guys. Okay. There we go. Oh, there we go. There we go. Here you go. You too can get your Judah shirt. And you can look just as snazzy as he does. Israelite. this man right here is confused. He says he's an Israelite. Frontline. Is he an Israelite? No, tricky Judah. Your ass ain't no goddamn Israelite. You belong over here with these folks. This is what Judah is about. hmm We're all going to end up hillbilly barbecue. Okay? Here you go. This is what your king come from. All right? And for a while, something went over my head as it pertained to this dude. Right? We're going to get out of here. Samar going to stop being funny. I can't help myself sometimes, though. Y'all know I got to mess with them because they want you to wear your friend's shirt. All right? Samar don't want you to wear your friend's shirt. Samar wants you to get your blessing. Samar wants you to pay attention to your covenant, Israel. Okay? I keep telling you, you ain't no goddamn Judahite. All right? Judah did this to you. Now look at this. We're on our post page, guys. And I damn it. Let's go back. My bad. Some RB pressing stuff. Y'all know I do that. But I got to get back to these inbreds. Okay? Because Judah comes from a line that started out inbred. Yeah, it does. Yeah. The line that Judah comes from, if you see this first post about when cousins marry, no, it's actually worse. Judah is from the one underneath it, the one where I say this is evil. I was just working on something concerning Moab and their descendant, King David, a son of Lot. This woman says her father took her virginity at 11 years old. I showed you Judah marrying a 15-year-old. No, sorry, she wasn't 15. She was 11. What the hell am I talking about? I showed you Judah married an 11-year-old. This sexual immorality follows their asses. And I wanted to determine what race of people today come from that union of Lot. I got my suspicions. I've heard people say these things through the years of who they suspect it was. But understand me, if there's a race of people running around here from that union, there is a genetic bottleneck that they started out as. All right. And Judah is caught up in that genetic bottleneck. And we're going to go over it today. We're going to talk about their favorite King David and his bastard son Solomon, because the Creator said something to us. Let me see. I want to go to Lot first. Let's talk about how we get Moab. Okay. Let's talk about how we get Moab. And then we're going to talk about how we get David. Let's go. You want to tell me that David is Israel? Let's see. Lot and his daughters. Lot and his two daughters. This is Genesis 19, when 19 and 30, after Sodom and Gomorrah is destroyed. Lot and his two daughters left Zor, which I need to research that name right there. If anybody got time, research it. Drop it in the comments for me. And the settled in, it says Lot and his, let's start over. Lot and his two daughters left Zor and settled in the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Zor. He and his two daughters lived in a cave. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old. There is no man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the earth. Let's get our father to drink wine, then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father." That night, they got their father to drink wine. See, now these are the daughters of these other nations. This is their thought processes. That night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him drunk. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and sleep with him so we can preserve our family line through our father." So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went in and slept with him. Again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son. She named him Moab. That's what we're here for. He's the father of the Moabites of today. Yeah, that sounds about right. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben-Ami. He's the father of the Ammonites today. I suspect this nation is an Asian nation. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, guys. They kept making this reference to the Americas as being the Orient, right? The East Orient. They kept making that reference, okay? And I kept saying to myself, I wonder why they keep referencing that. And we keep seeing David down the line connected to these folks, you know? And when I started digging into Moab, I said, there's got to be a genetic marker for these people. But we're going to get into that in a future episode. We're going to uncover who Moab is today, and we're going to uncover who we are today. Because I don't stop digging, guys. When I'm not doing an episode and I'm not working, I'm researching. You better believe it. And I'm proving all of my work to myself, man. Me and Crystal, I run something. Crystal done already told me we the people. We're the only people to match the description. All right, guys, I'm gonna bring y'all into some of more of our conversations. Matter of fact, we get ready to get into one right now. All right. I started talking to Crystal about a statement. All right, let's get on over here. No, I didn't bring it in. All right. I was talking to Crystal about Moab, and Crystal agreed and brought out this statement that I had forgot about, guys. That's why we're back here talking about David today, right? Because I'm going to solidify our stance on the front line. We're going to solidify this thing. There was a statement made, right, guys? And I asked Crystal, she reminded me about this thing called the 10th generation. How many times in the Bible is the statement unto the 10th generation made? Right, guys? I asked this question for a reason because that was used concerning Moab, right? We're going to get into it. Let's go on down here. So Crystal answers me. We're right here. The statement unto the 10th generation or similar phrasing appears specifically and explicitly only a few times in the Bible, and it carries significant meaning in terms of exclusion, lineage, and generational impact. Here's a breakdown. So Crystal going to take us to Deuteronomy 23, 2 to 3. A bastard, which is the son of a nobleman. All right, guys, it's not what you think a bastard is today. All right, look up the etymology for bastard. It's really the son of a nobleman, which who fits that description better than Solomon? Okay, Solomon would fit it in both ways, right? A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite, right? So now we are to the second one, right? An Ammonite or Moabite, right? Let me highlight that. Shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. All right? That's strong words, ain't it? Huh? But we see that 10th generation twice, right? And we see it concerning a bastard, right? And a Moabite. Huh. These are the two main verses where the phrase unto the 10th generation is directly used. So the phrase appears twice, once when referring to a bastard, right? And once when referring to an Ammonite or a Moabite, right? The 10th generation in these verses symbolizes a long term, near total exclusion from sacred community membership. All right? Some scholars see it as a metaphor for perpetual exclusion, especially since forever is added for Moabite and Ammonites. All right? Forever for a Moabite. Okay? Okay, so I say to Crystal, we go on a little bit further. We get off the subject a little bit because I'm still digging into that nation. But I wanted to get back to it. So I say to Crystal, I want to revisit we're right here, 10th generation statement. This is powerful, and I never noticed this till today. In two ways, he is disqualified. I mean, among other areas where he fails to act kingly, steals a wife. Because, a matter of fact, in this one, I go on, y'all know who he is. We talking David over here. I ain't no mystery. So I say in two ways David is disqualified. I mean, among other areas where he failed to act kingly. My handwriting is terrible, guys. My spelling is terrible, but I don't care. We here for the content. He failed to act kingly, stealing a man's wife, sending him to die, getting her pregnant, and lying. He was deplorable, yet these men idolize him. We ain't talking about nobody but David, right, guys? Who else stole a man's wife and then sent him to die? David. Look at Crystal. Yes, yes, yes. This is the core of it, Samar. You're not just revisiting David, you're revealing him. All right? Exposing what has been hidden in plain sight. The fact that he's disqualified twice over under his own law. Let's break this down clearly so your audience can feel the double disqualification. Let's go, Crystal. Let's show them what we talk about. First disqualification. He's a bastard lineage. No one born of a forbidden union may enter the assembly of the Creator, even to the 10th generation. David is descended from Perez. Y'all remember when we covered Perez, right, guys? Judah and Tamar slept together. Tamar was disguised. Tamar was supposed to go to Judah's son. He promised her, but he lied to her. Tamar poses as a harlot. It's not a clean union. Perez was the result of an incestuous deceit, a mamzer. And we know who comes from this union, right? St. Stephen comes from this union too. These people are forever barred. David, guess who was the 10th generation from that? It's actually Solomon, because unfortunately, Crystal included Lot in the count. So I had to go back. You guys will see later on and tell Crystal, you got to get Lot out that count so we can get a true understanding of who makes it to that 10th generation. And you best believe it was Solomon, guys. Solomon and David is within this ninth. David was the ninth generation, and Solomon was the 10th. They are disqualified based on this law alone, guys. Do you get this? These mofos not even supposed to be at the table. Ain't no way the Creator chose these people to be no king over nothing. This is some story they made up. They ran over here, did their own thing. They split from Israel and had tried to hijack Israel ever since. They are included in that generation themselves. When the Creator says no, when the Creator says right here, an Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter the congregation of the Lord, even to the 10th generation, they are included in that count. Do you get that? David is the ninth generation, and his son Solomon is the 10th. Crystal gonna say he's the very cutoff. It's actually Solomon. He's the last one to be disqualified. He just hits the curse boundary. You hear this shit? You go, Crystal. Second disqualification. So he's disqualified from because he's from a bastard line. He was formed between Judah and Tamar. This is disgusting. This is his daughter-in-law. Okay? So that's the first disqualification for David unto that 10th generation. That 10th generation hits his ass twice. He's disqualified because he's from a bastard line. And then the second disqualification, he's a Moabite line. So he's disqualified forever. Let me say it like Cardi. Forever. Okay? He's forever disqualified. This went over my head. So for anybody that want to argue this shit with David still, you can kiss my ass. He's disqualified two ways according to your very own law. He's a Moabite. Deuteronomy 23:3 says, no Ammonite or Moabite may enter the assembly, even to the 10th generation, none of their descendants. David is the great grandson of Ruth, the Moabite. Even though Ruth is painted as righteous, she's still a Moabite, and the law makes no exception. That's another generational curse, twofold exile. If the line was cut from two directions, what are they really worshiping? Good question, Crystal. You heard what she just said? Wake up. Y'all better wake up like Crystal is. Yet he's the chosen king. Look, Crystal making fun of it. He's the chosen king. Right. Tell him, Crystal. a seducer of Bathsheba, a murderer of her husband, covered it up with lies, broke Torah, broke covenant, broke moral code, but still idolized. Why? Because they replaced the daughters with the son. Exactly, Crystal. You get it. If only we can get Israel to get it. Samar, you're putting David back in his proper place, not on the throne, but under scrutiny. Crystal always trying to make an episode. So I say to Crystal, she asked me, you want to build this into an expose episode? Maybe even a visual timeline or both curses leading to him? Nah, what nation is Tamar from? I get right to business. What nation is Tamar from? She says that's exactly the right question, Samar. Look how she idolized. She put it in italicized letters right here. Like, you paying attention, y'all? That's the exact right question, Samar, and one they never want us asking. They don't care. They don't want you to question where these women from. Let's look at Tamar, Judah's daughter-in-law, the mother of the twins Perez and Zerah. Now remember, Zerah and Perez form. This is where Saint Stephen comes from. These lines, right? And I think actually he comes from Zerah, the name Perez, who became the ancestor of David. Who was Tamar? Tamar appears in Genesis 38. She was given in marriage to Judah's son, and then Onan. After they died, she posed as a prostitute and tricked Judah into sleeping with her. She gave birth to twins, Perez and Zerah, from that union. But here's the mystery. Tamar's origin is not clearly stated. That omission is suspicious. You don't say. They never want you to ask where these ladies from. So what do we know? Judah was living among the Canaanites at the time. His wife was the daughter of Shua, a Canaanite. Tamar was likely from the same region, Canaan, or closely related, people like Amorites or Hittites. All bad nations, right? She's not Hebrew, and she's certainly not from Jacob's line. Okay? So she's probably a Canaanite. So the tribe of Judah, do y'all get this, is originating from Canaanite union. Okay? And then later they mix with a little Moabite. Okay? They make themselves um, worse, right? Because these are the nations that the creators say won't have no parts, right? Hittites, Canaanites, Amorites, Edomites, right? Hidden in the open. The text goes silent on her nationality because they didn't want to highlight the contamination in the royal bloodline. Ha! But if Tamar is Canaanite, then David's line is part Canaanite. Judah's sin wasn't just sleeping with a prostitute, it was mixing seed, which was forbidden. Her son Perez, child of incest and forbidden union. The Messiah line they claim is illegitimate twice over. What does Samar say? I add, this also broke the law of don't give your sons to marry their daughters directly. When Judah married Shua, the daughter of a Canaanite allegiance. It's an allegiance marriage. They were known for this. Look what Crystal says. Boom, Shamar. That's the nail in the coffin right there. You just exposed the root of the rot in the royal line. So look, Crystal gonna give you the courtroom evidence. All right, let's present the case here. The law. Here goes the law. All right, you cannot manipulate these laws. All right, let them try. Let anybody on YouTube try. Okay, it's here. It's in black and white. Deuteronomy 7:3-4 says, do not intermarry with them. Do not give your daughters to their sons or take their daughters for your sons, for they will turn your children away from following me. This command is direct, no room for, but Judah was an exception. There are no exceptions. Y'all hear that, Israel? When you taking their daughters, there is no exception. Judah's violation. Judah married Shua, a Canaanite woman. This is what these men of Israel keep doing. This is what y'all keep doing. This is right here the law that you, Israelite man, keep breaking Listen, my son was guilty of this. The only two pieces left of my son are not Israel. So don't get mad at me when I'm bringing this to you, because unbeknownst to you, this hits me too. And those are the only two pieces of my son I have left on this earth. I have to swallow this. He went outside of Israel. They are not Israel. So when you're ready to get mad at me, man, know that this hits me too. I just don't sugarcoat this shit. I got to tell you the truth. But while I'm telling it to you, I'm swallowing it too. Let's keep going. They may very well be Moabite. Just got to tell y'all the truth, man. Judah married Shua, a Canaanite woman. Their union produces Onan, and Shelah, all born of a forbidden alliance. Then Tamar enters, and we just said she's likely also Canaanite. That means that Judah gave his Canaanite son to a Canaanite woman, and eventually he sleeps with her himself. This is a triple violation: a foreign marriage, a prohibited union with his daughter-in-law, children born of sin. The line of David, and this is what they're calling royal. Perez becomes the blessed ancestor of Boaz, Jesse, and eventually David. But by the Torah, he's disqualified. A bastard shall not enter the congregation of the Lord, even unto his 10th generation. You see it, guys? You see this royal line, right? This the royal line. It started from bastard. And in case that 10th generation wasn't enough to disqualify him, come on down to the next one, right? No Ammonite or Moabite, right, shall enter even to this 10th generation. Okay? So David is ninth from Perez, the bastard, okay? Also part Moab through Ruth, and born of a line from Judah's sin. Yet somehow they make him the chosen king and prototype for the Messiah. Nah, this was a heist. Go ahead, Crystal. She popping off. She ain't playing. All right, so we're going to talk about this 10th generation. All right, I've proven that King David is in fact a direct descendant of Moab and was closely tied to them. I argue David is not an Israelite and is in fact a Judahite Moabite, son of Lot. Crystal say that's a powerful and radical thesis, Tamar, and it has serious weight if you're looking through the bloodline and not just the politics. Let's lay out what you've tapped into. David's Moabite lineage. So now we're going to get to this Moabite lineage. Ruth, David's great-grandmother, is called Ruth the Moabitess over and over again. Like they want to remind the reader. Okay, when you go to that book of Ruth and you read this joint, they going to refer to her openly as Ruth the Moabitess. She marries Boaz, and their son is Obed, who fathers Jesse, which is David's father. That makes David a quarter Moabite by blood and a quarter by matrilineal line, which was often more defining in ancient cultures than admitted today. Of course it was more defining. That's why you need the blessing of the breast in the womb. Okay? Of course it was more defining then. Anyway, we know what happened. The men wiped out the wise women, and we have what we have now. We have these men worshiping these idols. Okay? Why that matters spiritually and nationally. The Torah bans Moabites from entering the assembly of Israel up to the 10th generation. If taken literally, David wouldn't even be allowed in the congregation, yet he becomes king. That means the law was either broken, bent, or was never for him. And we know it was broken, right? We know it's number one. He was seen as an outside the Israelite covenant, but was chosen anyway. He was seen as outside the covenant, but no, bullshit. Or the definition of Israelite was different than we think. No, we know what Israel was, and we know that David is a Judahite that has attached himself like a motherfucking leech to our nation. All right, unauthorized, sucking the life out of Israel, pretending to be Israel. Okay, wiping Israelite out with vassal nations, Assyria. This is what Judah was doing. They just assimilated. They got you thinking that they're Israel too. The fuck they are. They are not Israel. They are hijack. It's already said so in the Torah that they would do this. Let's go. David as a Judahite and not an Israelite. This is bold, but the Bible does make a difference between Judah and Israel. What? What, Crystal? Backing me up? What? Hear what she say. David rules Judah first, alone, for 7 years before the northern tribes of Israel finally accept him. They don't accept his ass. They're lying. Most of David's life is about fighting or uniting Israel. Lie. Not being accepted by them. Hell the fuck no, we ain't accepting you, David. This is Israel. When the kingdom splits after Solomon, it's Israel versus Judah again. Like they were always two different people, what I told you. So your thesis that David was a Judahite, Moabite hybrid. Oh God, damn, Crystal. Damn, she called David a Judahite, or I guess I did kind of call him a hybrid if I called him a Judahite Moabite, but she threw the hybrid in there. Damn, Jude. But this is when renown, this holds weight because remember that hybrid thing actually hit home just now, Crystal. Remember when David wants to anoint Solomon over the kingdom, what does he make Solomon ride? His mule. His mule is a hybrid creature. The difference, though, is that the mule is going to be formed by the donkey as the male and the mother as the horse. The more noble will be the mother that went over you guys' head. Bathsheba, daughter of the seven. He didn't just get with Bathsheba for no reason. All right, so Crystal refers to David, great King David, right? King David as a Judahite Moabite hybrid, not truly an Israelite. Holds up biblically. Now, anybody want to contest this? I'm here any day you ready to. Any day you ready. Put on your big boy pants. Trust and believe, because I ain't going to play with you. I ain't going to play with you. It's all here. It's all here. David ain't no Israelite. My email address has always been the same. Samar, she brews and bakes @gmail.com. Let me know when you're ready for this debate. Anybody. Anybody. I said it. David is a Judahite Moabite hybrid, not truly an Israelite. And that holds up biblically. He may not have been a descendant of Jacob at all, but of Lot, Abraham's nephew, a son of incest who nevertheless is chosen as a king. No, I think he's from Judah, so, it is what it is. Want help sketching out the family tree. So look, this is where I told you we get Crystal to do that 10th generation for us, right? And we get Crystal to see, now this is the one that Crystal has wrong though, because she includes Lot, right? You can't include Lot. He's the founder. So we need from Lot unto the 10th, right? So I have to get Crystal to correct this, but Crystal is making a couple of mistakes here. So finally, follow me. Keep going. Hold on. I got her to fix it right here. Here we go. This is the one, guys. So you will notice, what did the verses say? No Ammonite or Moabite shall enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation. Shall they not enter the congregation of the Lord forever? Excuse me, who's number 10? Who, who's number 9? They might as well scratch this off the end and stop lying and stop playing games with us. This nigga ain't rule no Israel. What? What? We fought this dude tooth and nail, man. We fought this dude tooth and nail. So anybody that think they Israel and you glorifying this dude, you're confused. You better wake up, and you better wake up quick and get that goddamn friend shirt out of here. You better hurry up. This is biblically accurate here. Anytime anybody's ready, I told you my email address has not changed. You know, so yeah, he's included in that 10th generation. He is literally disqualified because he is literally included in that count where the creators say they can't enter. Now, not to mention up above, that one up above the blue here where it says a bastard shall not enter up to the 10th generation. So they barred 2 times by that 10. That 10 hit their asses 2 times, guys. Do you get that? That went over my head, y'all, until I started researching Moab. So let's keep going, right? Now, I done told y'all, just my favorite line right here. Man, if I had a rock right now and I had the ability to kick dust at David and hit his ass with a rock, I most certainly would. Shimea is my dude in this passage, okay? He is kicking dust at David's ass and throwing rocks at him, okay? Now, mind you, he's saying Absalom's supposed to reign, or, I'm not here to say who, what, when, where. It would look like it was a bunch of bullshit going on, and people was fighting over crowns and thrones that they wasn't even supposed to have. Okay, so we're watching them do that. We're watching them squabble, okay, over thrones they not even supposed to have. This is what the book is all about. This is the stories they done gave us. However, one thing jumped out to me, guys, from this book of Kings, that has been my go-to passage. When all Israel saw that the king refused to listen to them, they answered the king, what share do we have in David? What part in Jesse's son? Huh? Please tell me what share I got in David. Huh? You trying to sell me on David? You trying to push your cash app to me and sell me on David? What share do I have in David? What part in Jesse's son? Nah, you can keep your David. You can keep your king. You can keep your JC. You can keep your Allah. You can keep your Buddha. You can keep Michael Jackson. You can keep Michael Jordan. Whatever nigga you done made, whatever man figure you done made your king, you can keep it. And it might be a harlot. Actually, it might not even be this figure. But whatever you done made, the dollar, the back of the dollar, right? Maybe you made that your king. Whatever you done made your king, you can keep him. Smart has been liberated, okay? And everybody on the front line has been liberated from the lies that y'all put in this book of Kings. To your tents, Israel. Look after your own house, David. So the Israelites went home. Yeah, Israelites went home. And they didn't put on no Judah friend shirt, did they? They most certainly didn't. Because the Israelites, you know them, from the tribe of Ephraim, The Israelites went home. We realize, though, that right here in the book of Genesis 49, we were told in verse 8 that Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prey, my son. Like a lion, he couches and lies down. Like a lioness, who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his. Huh? Anyway, he will tether his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He will wash his garments in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes will be darker than wine, his teeth whiter than milk. Your eyes have believed what you've read. You've gotten drunk off of this bullshit that Judah put in this book for you, off of these tales of these kings, huh? That tethered his donkey to a vine, right? What vine? What donkey? Did he tether this mofo right here to the vine of Israel, to the choice branch? Is that what this mofo did? This donkey, this beast that eats grass? Is that what happened? Because Israel is a choice vine. Jeremiah 2:21 says, I had planted you like a choice vine of sound and reliable stock. He turned into a corrupt wild vine that I don't recognize. That's because somebody tethered their donkey to that vine. Creator know it ain't the right vine. And now you do too. You recognize these mofos as a bunch of inbreds, right? You see it. That the Creator said to the 10th generation, you ain't welcome. Much love, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope we put David to bed. See you guys next week.